Let's move on to the 12th and straight into the squadron summaries. 441 records that congratulations have been extended to Flight Lieutenant Moore on being awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. 17 high patrols of 4 aircraft each were flown during the day, all of which proved to be uneventful. Very early in the morning, 2 aircraft were sent out on air-sea rescue work. One was forced to return because of mechanical failure and the second was recalled. Later in the morning, an additional 2 aircraft were sent out. An old dinghy was located, but it is not believed that this was the object of the search. 2 further air-sea rescue patrols were sent out later in the day, but those proved uneventful. So these would have been patrols out over the English Channel looking for dinghies or pilots who have bailed out, both conducting the search themselves and covering those who are also out there conducting the search. Now, 442 called at 0430 hours for an armed recce, but didn't take off due to cloudy weather. Bright afternoon and airborne at 15:05 on an armed recce. Flying Officer Goodwin returned early when cannons would not fire. Others saw Mustangs and Me-109s close by in the clouds, but none shot down. Destroyed and damaged some mechanized transport near Saint-Pierre. At 19:15, 6 with bombs and 6 as cover took off on another armed recce, dropped their bombs on a crossroads and some motorcyclists. Total flying time 30 hours. So up until this time, all the armed recces have been going up just with guns, almost a combination fighter sweep and armed reconnaissance ground attack type mission. And now we see the first example of them going up specifically with bombs. Now 443, weather continued cloudy, visibility poor, ceiling low, no rain and very little wind, clearing during late afternoon. Very slight damage caused during the night to one of our aircraft from falling flak from our own guns. A very heavy barrage was laid on, there being considerable enemy air activity during the night. Squadron took part in 2 armed recces during the day with a total of 12 MET to their credit. So moving on to the missions, 441 had these 17 instances of high patrols of 4 aircraft each from 0515 to 2110. And I was looking around a little bit yesterday, and I'll look some more today for the overall air plan. It would be within the 83 group records, outlining in both general and very, very specific terms, hopefully, the types of missions being tasked to the wings and what everybody else is doing. We've seen examples of low patrols over different areas. Now we see high patrols. We've seen the squadrons on readiness at different states of alert on the end of the runway. We've seen the armed reconnaissance. We've seen the fighter sweeps, strike missions against pre-planned targets, and I just want to see how this fits into the grand scheme of things, as planned at least. I mean, I have a good idea of what everybody else was doing. I just want to see the plan versus execution for once, and I know that document exists, and eventually I'll come up with it. So these patrols, both the air-sea rescues and the high patrols, all uneventful until we get down to the end, apparently. Okay, so they're all perfectly uneventful, and it does give a location for one of the air-sea rescue patrols 5 miles northeast of Keborg. Now adjust that slightly to the northeast. So right there is, in one case, where they would have been looking for dinghies and downed pilots who had bailed out. So the first large-scale mission is carried out by 443, an armed recce, 1400 to 1520. 12 aircraft took off, led by Squadron Leader McLeod on armed recce. 3 flamers claimed and 2 destroyed south of Lasseau near Livarot when MET column was observed. 8/10ths cloud from 1500 to 4000 feet. 1 flight stayed above the cloud, while the second flight, led by the CO, attacked transport. No flak encountered, nor any enemy aircraft. Next up is a 1505 to 1615 armed recce by number 442, and this one is patrol between 3 and 8,000 feet. 2 flamers destroyed, 1 south and 1 north of Lasseau, 1 damaged east of Saint-Pierre, and 1 damaged east of Falaise. Sighted 3 Mustangs and 3 Me-109s south of, it says Megadon. This always takes me a while to figure out. It's M-E-Z-A-D-O-N instead of this Megadon they have in the records. It comes up so often you'd think I would just know exactly where to go every time, but yeah, right up here. Refugees on the roads south of Mazadon and east of Caen, heading south and east. So these would be French civilians seeking refuge from the front lines, especially, I would imagine, civilians from Caen who had just seen some large-scale bombardments and a great land battle right there within the city itself. It goes on to note many small motorbikes on the roads, flak moderate heavy north of Argenton, 9/10ths cloud base, possibly 5,000 feet, top 5,500 with the clouds breaking up. Then 443's up again, 1735 to 1855, armed reconnaissance. 12 aircraft dispatched an armed recce. Vector to 15 plus Jerry aircraft east of Falaise, flying on the deck, but were unable to engage in combat as petrol and ammunition were low. The range was 350 yards when the CO's engine began to act up, and he led the flight back to base. 7 MET were claimed on the roads, 4 flamers and 3 destroyed. Sky clear, visibility good, no enemy flak interference. They're down at 1855, and then 442 gets up again, 1915 to 2035. And these went up again in 2 sections of 6 with bombs, 6 with only gun. Top cover patrolled at 9,000 feet, bottom section is 6,000 feet. 6 500-pound Mark IV bombs carried, 4 dropped at crossroads, and it notes Tango 4046 from 6,000 to 3,000 feet from west to east, 2 near misses, 1 MET damaged, 3 tenths cloud, base 3,000, top 3,500 scattered. And somehow I kind of doubt 4046 is the location of the crossroads that they bombed there. That would be kind of out of character to come this far west, but here is a crossroads in that vicinity. There's no overhead imagery, and I think it's a lot more likely that it was a crossroads over here, slightly to the east, in the sector that they've been patrolling. Here's a candidate at Tango 9046. These typed out records, after all, are transcribed from handwritten records after the fact, so there are a lot of little transcription errors like that, so possibilities were Tango 9046, 9096, 4096. None of those really made any sense. This is the only one that seemed reasonable, but this probably is not the location, in fact, because this 4 August photo doesn't show any bomb craters at all in the vicinity of this crossroads. And with these 500-pound bombs, there would have been some sign left in the terrain. I was kind of hoping to see exactly what a 500-pound bomb crater with the few settings that they use would have looked like. Just as a comparison, probably something along the lines of these when it comes to size. But yeah, I really wanted to see an exact location, but yeah, it just wasn't meant to be on this one, I guess. So I think what I'm going to do is just wrap this up here. I really want to find some more general documents, specifically the air plan that they're executing in conjunction with all the other wings and squadrons. So that's what I'm going to spend the rest of my time allocated for the day doing, and cut this one a little bit shorter than normal right here. So I'll come back tomorrow. We have another air battle with a description from Johnny Johnson to look at. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.